The pandemic has allowed WittKieffer and our clients to work even more closely as partners, and we are truly striving to act as an extension of our clients' internal executive search teams. These have been some trying months this last year, and we have partnered with our clients to customize a more creative and innovative search process that both the candidate and our clients can feel comfortable with. Some of these innovations include virtual interviews, virtual search process meetings such as stakeholder interviews, candidate presentations, and feedback meetings. We can even set up virtual tours of our clients' facilities for the candidates when the appropriate time is right. These innovative processes have created several efficiencies in the way we navigate the entire search process. And most importantly, these efficiencies have led to a more cost-effective product for our clients without sacrificing any quality and leading to a mutually successful conclusion for all parties involved. We've received a lot of feedback on these new efficient processes from our clients and the market, and some of these new normals will just be normal parts of the process moving forward.
Many people have asked me to comment about the utilization of interim leaders during this pandemic, and really it's something that may be counterintuitive for many people. As we've gone into this unprecedented time, there's a couple of things everyone should be thinking about. One is, for the last 20 years, hospitals and healthcare systems have tried very diligently to become more efficient. In that process, many of them have reduced their administrative teams and flattened the organizational charts to the point where when there is a gap and there is an opening, it's very difficult to ask one person to cover for another, and the gap is just too large for them to carry on. So they have to go out and find an interim leader to come in and stabilize that department or that area, provide additional leadership and direction to keep them on track for their strategic goals. And this pandemic has really kind of made people reevaluate just how much capacity they've taken out of their leadership teams. As people leave for a variety of reasons, some of which are just the stress of the pandemic, others have become sick and had to leave for personal health issues. Many have looked at this as a time to retire. Every day that they're at work, they're seeing that life is precious and being reminded that they really should take stock of their situation. So many people have left. And as we move into the next stage of this pandemic, we're 10 months in now, I think that we're going to continue to see more and more people turning to interim leadership to help them. In fact, many of my clients are now considering the need to bring in different clinical leaders and operational leaders to give breaks for individuals, that many of which have worked nonstop 7 days a week for the last 10 months. And they're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, people are physically exhausted. They're mentally exhausted, and it's difficult for them to bring the kind of leadership that they have in the past to their teams and to their hospitals. And so for many people, this is kind of a way for them to kind of refill the cup so that they can then share that same energy level that they used to have. I think that we're going to be in a situation through the summer of 2021 when interim leadership will be relied on more heavily, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Think about how our client organizations and how healthcare organizations overall can better engage with top talent during a largely virtual recruitment process. I'd point to three main areas of focus, all of which fall under the umbrella of bringing the humanity back into the recruitment process, specifically and particularly at the executive level, but applicable to all levels throughout the organization. So first and foremost, You want to take the opportunity of a recruitment to engage with other people and not to be so narrowly focused on the task at hand that you aren't open to varying levels of talent entering into your organization. In other words, you have an opportunity to demonstrate your culture through every recruitment process. And I mean that both with external candidates as well as with internal candidates. And so allowing yourself to be flexible, both in timelines, but also in communication and in messages, also allows you to show yourself as an organization that people want to work for. Second, we want to stick with the timeline, but we want to build into that timeline some flexibility. So as opposed to narrowing down a very specific set of dates relative to milestones in the interview process, you want to build into those dates some flexibility, because as we all know, things have been shifting on a nearly day-to-day basis. The beauty of doing things from a virtual standpoint is that, generally speaking, people have a little bit more flexibility in their calendar to enter into a Zoom interview. What you want to sometimes be careful about, particularly in interviewing candidates, is that they often will not feel comfortable doing these interviews from their office, and they may need a little bit of flex time to get to a space where they can attend to the interview appropriately. And then last but not least, it's communication, communication, communication. If we've learned anything throughout the past 12 months, what we've learned is that, generally speaking, candidates appreciate greatly the opportunity to engage with others. They're very understanding of missteps or timelines that have been misaligned with what we had initially expected, but they do expect to be communicated with. So you never want a candidate to feel as if they're in the black hole of recruitment space, but you want them to feel comfortable with you. You want them to feel like they can engage with you in a regular and authentic way. And you want them to feel like you appreciate their time as much as they appreciate yours. So those are three things that I would suggest healthcare organizations can do to better engage with top talent during what has largely been and largely will be a virtual recruitment process.
That the past year has put tremendous financial stress on academic medical centers, but it's also created new opportunities for leadership. We saw over the course of the last year the quick development of new treatments, as well as the COVID-19 vaccines, which really showed the importance of research and the role that academic medical centers can play. I think the challenge moving forward will be using the lessons that were learned during the treatment of COVID and applying those to other health issues. This will require leaders who are collaborative and who are committed to breaking down those barriers between research and education and the delivery of healthcare. Leaders who have shown their ability to do this over the course of the last year will be in high demand moving forward.